Hi, let's take a look at this example. It's problem number 4, I think, from your homework, and it corresponds to the textbook exercise number 9 out of section 13.2. Okay, the biggest thing to notice is that it's giving you the graph of the derivative. So this, what appears to be like a quadratic, is actually the graph of the derivative and not the function. So that's typically where the mistakes are made. Okay, so what I have done off to the left on my screen is I've graphed it and I have pointed some things out. So it's not as great of a graph, but we've got some highlighting done here. So as you take a look at this graph of the derivative, you notice that here where I'm tracing, and hopefully you can see this cursor, it's kind of highlighted in this pinkish chalk. This would be where f prime is negative, right? It's below the x-axis. And then starting here at x being -7, we can see that we have the derivative above the x-axis, and so we'd have the derivative as positive. And then as I trace over here and I go down, I can see from -1, x equals -1, that the derivative is again negative. And so what that allows you to do is you are able to create your sign chart. So I've got our sign chart. I've got my two x values, which we could call our critical numbers, that where the derivative is 0. And so I put those on my number line. I've got x is -7 where my derivative equals 0, and I've got x equals -1 where my derivative is 0. And I can begin filling in my sign chart. So I know something about f prime. I know something about f of x based on that. And so as you look, just as we mentioned, f prime of x is going to be negative from -infinity all the way to -7. And it's going to be positive from -7 to 1. So we've got our plus sign. And it's going to be negative again. This is again the derivative from -1 to infinity. And so based on what we've learned so far, that means that our function would be decreasing along this interval, increasing along this interval, and then decreasing in the next. And so as you start thinking about what that has to look like, well, what does it look like from decreasing to increasing? Well, if I'm going to be decreasing and then increasing suddenly when x is -7, that means I've got a minimum. And then you look to the next one, it says I would be increasing and then decreasing. Well, that means I have a maximum. So that should take you through any of these problems when you're looking at the derivative. You should be able to decipher where the derivative is positive or negative, where we can see it's equal to 0, create your sign chart, and then we will know something about our original function.